Alright, hey guys, what's going on? It's another Murderous Monday. Wait a minute though, but on a Wednesday? How could this be? Well, I'll tell you how. I was just busy Monday and Tuesday and didn't have a chance to do it. But now I do. So, hey guys, what's up? On this channel, Murderous Mondays, I talk about killers and I upload every Monday. Well, except this week. I uploaded today. Hence the name of this channel. And the next serial killer I'll be talking about is the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway. How did he become so evil? No, wait, I skipped a line. Who was he? What was his early life like? And why and how did he become so evil? I will answer that and more in this video as I take you down the perspective mind of a serial killer. Now, trigger warning, if you do not want to hear about necrophilia or strangulation, I'd say click off of this video, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. But let's get started then. Let's try. That was like the Jason Voorhees thing. Alright. Gary Leon Ridgway, born February 18th, 1949, is an American serial killer known as the Green River Killer. He was initially convicted of 48 separate murders committed between the early 1980s and late 1990s. As part of his plea bargain, another conviction was added, bringing the total number of his convictions to 49, making him the second most prolific serial killer in the United States history according to confirmed murders. I want to say that Ted Bundy's the first one. I don't know. Most of Ridgway's victims were alleged to be sex workers and other women in vulnerable circumstances, including underage runaways. Before his identity was known, the media gave him the nickname after the first 5 victims were found in the Green River. He strangled his victims, usually by hand, but sometimes using ligatures. After strangling them, he would dump their bodies in forested and overgrown areas in King County, often returning to the bodies to engage in acts of necrophilia. Ridgway has been a suspect in the murders since 1982. However, investigators were unable to link him to the murders at that time. Later advances in DNA profiling allowed investigators to definitively link Ridgway to the murders, and he was arrested on November 30th, 2001, as he was leaving the Kenworth truck factory where he worked in Renton, Washington, as part of a plea bargain wherein he agreed to disclose all the locations of the still missing women. He was spared the death penalty and received, I think, 48 life sentences, imprisonment, without the possibility of parole. Early life. Gary Leon Ridgway was born on February 18th, 1949, in Salt Lake City, Utah. The second of Mary and Thomas Ridgway's 3 sons. His home life was somewhat troubled. Relatives have described his mother as demurring and have said that while young, he witnessed more than one violent argument between his parents. His father was a bus driver who would often complain about the presence of sex workers. Ridgway had a bedwetting problem until he was 13, and his mother would forcefully wash his genitals after every episode. Alright, so remember, in the act of being a serial killer, remember, you wet your bed, like obviously like over the age of like 10. You kill small animals, and I forgot the other thing, but it's the pyramid, being a serial killer. Oh, wait, someone put down in the comments what the third one is. I forget. I always forget what the third one is. Probably like a gun collection or something. He would later tell defense psychologists and that as an adolescent, he had conflicting feelings of anger and sexual attractions toward his mother and fantasized about killing her. Ridgeway is dyslexic and was held back a year in high school. When he was 16, he stabbed a 6-year-old boy who survived the attack. Ridgeway had led the boy into the woods and then stabbed him through the ribs into his liver. Ridgway's IQ was recorded as being in the low 80s, which is not really good at all. Adult life. Ridgeway graduated from Tai High School in 1969 and married his 19-year-old high school girlfriend Claudia Craig. He joined the United States Navy and was sent to Vietnam, where he served on board a supply ship and saw combat. Also, my grandpa was in the Vietnam War. Well, he actually got out like right before it started, but like he was in the beginning stages of it. He was making sure that the people didn't come over the border. He was in Berlin, I think, the Berlin Wall or something. Stationed in Berlin, whatever, like the wall. Like, and if they were to come over, he would shoot them. He also got bayonet shot, and he has a scar to this day. It's like, it's like on like his lower wrist, like over here. No, like over here, I think. Yeah, but he's still alive though. So during his time in the military, Ridgeway had frequent sexual intercourse with sex workers and contracted gonorrhea. Although angered by this, he continued this activity without protection. And probably out came 5 little devils. No, I'm just kidding. The marriage ended within a year. When questioned about Ridgeway after his arrest, friends and family described him as friendly but strange. His first 2 marriages resulted in divorce because of infidelities by both partners. His second wife, Marcia Winslow, claimed that he had placed her in a chokehold. He became religious during his second marriage. Rose. He began. He became religious during his second marriage, and he would go door to door reading the Bible aloud at work and at home, and insisting that his wife follow the strict teachings of their pastor. Now, the word that I said that he went from house to house, door to door, right? The word is proselytizing. Yeah, proselytizing. Ridgeway would also frequently cry after sermons or readings of the Bible. Despite his beliefs, Ridgeway continued to solicit the services of sex workers and wanted his wife to participate in sex in public and inappropriate places, sometimes even in areas where his victims' bodies were discovered. Yeah. According to the women in his life, Ridgeway had an insatiable sexual appetite. His 3 ex-wives and several ex-girlfriends reported that he demanded sex from them several times a day. Often, he would want to have sex in a public area or in the woods. Ridgeway himself admitted to having a fixation with sex workers with who he had a love-hate relationship with. He frequently complained about their presence in his neighborhood, but he also took advantage of their services regularly. In a statement resulting in a statement, oh, hold on. Here we go. In a statement read at his plea hearing, Gary Ridgeway said that he hated most prostitutes and didn't want to pay them for sex. Some have speculated that Ridgway was torn between his lusts and his staunch religious beliefs. With his second wife, Marcia, Ridgway had a son. Murders. Oh, sorry. Murders. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Ridgway is believed to have murdered at least 71 teenage girls and women near Seattle and Tacoma, Washington. In court statements, Ridgway later reported that he had killed so many that he lost count, but he could obviously tell what they all look like and stuff. A majority of the murders occurred between 82 and 84. Wow, so also he did not stop. I mean, obviously he stopped, but yeah, I mean, between 82 and 84, he managed to kill like probably like over 50 of them. The victims were believed to be either sex workers or runaways who he picked up along Pacific Highway South. Ridgway sometimes showed the women a picture of his son to trick them into trusting him. They would engage in sexual activity, and after minutes of intercourse from behind, Ridgway would wrap his forearm around the front of their necks and use the other arm to pull back as tight as he could, strangling them. So it's literally like the coquina clutch, but Samoa Joe the wrestler does. But he actually like we know he actually like chokes him out though, and kills them. Gary Ridgway does. He killed most victims in his home, his truck, or a secluded area. Most of their bodies were dumped in wooded areas around the Green River Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and other dump sites within South King County. There were also two confirmed and another two suspected victims found in Portland, Oregon area. The bodies were often left in clusters, sometimes posed, usually nude. He would sometimes return to the victims' bodies and engage in necrophilia with their bodies, which we mentioned before. Ridgway later explained that he did not find necrophilia more sexually satisfying, but having sex with the deceased reduced his need to obtain a living victim and thus limited his exposure to being caught. Ridgway occasionally contaminated the dump sites with gum, cigarettes, and written materials belonging to others. He even transported a few victims' remains across the state lines into Oregon to confuse the police. Now we go to um 1982 to 1984 first known victims. The body of Ridgway's first known victim was found in July, or found on July. No, it was found in July of 1982. A unique kind of spray paint was found on clothing wrapped around the victim's neck, but the paint was not tested for for 20 years. If it had been tested at the time, it would have been easier to link the murder to Ridgway. After four more victims were found, the King County Sheriff's Office formed the Green River Task Force to investigate the murders. Task Force members included Robert Capel and David Reichert, who periodically interviewed incarcerated serial killer Ted Bundy in '84. Bundy offered his opinions on the psychology, motivations, and behavior of the killer. He suggested that the killer was revisiting the dump sites to have sex with his victims, which turned out to be true. See, so serial killers don't fall far from the tree when it comes to other serial killers. Because there are serial killers themselves, like Ted Bundy is a serial killer, so is Gary Ridgway. And so Ted Bundy was like, yeah, he's probably doing this right now. And he was, because he probably did that at that time before he got caught. No, I know he did. Um, he suggested that the killer was revisiting the dump sites to have sex with the victims, which turned out to be true. And if police found a fresh grave, they should stake it out and wait for him to come back. Also contributing to the investigation was FBI Special Agent John E. Douglas, who developed a profile of the suspect. Ridgway was arrested in 1982 and 2001 on charges related to prostitution. He became a suspect in the Green River killings, which he was actually Green River killer, as we now know. In 1983, when 18-year-old Marie Malvar disappeared. Her boyfriend, her boyfriend and her pimp later found a truck in front of Ridgway's house, which they thought was the same one she had boarded the day she went missing. Ridgway was interviewed in conjunction with that event, and police received several other tips that mentioned him. In 1984, he passed a polygraph test. Wow, shocker, actually. An actual shocker, actually. Uh, 1985 to 2001, marriage with Judith Mawson, arrest for the murder. Around 1985, Ridgway began dating Judith Mawson, who became his third wife in 1988. Mawson claimed in a 2010 television interview that when she moved into his house while they were dating, there was no carpet. Detectives later told her he had probably wrapped a body in the carpet. In the same interview, she described how he would leave for work early in the morning, some days os- ostensibly for, basically for the overtime pay. Mawson speculated that he must have committed some of the murders while supposedly working these early morning shifts. She claimed that she had not suspected Ridgway's crimes before she was contacted by authorities in '87 and had not even heard of the Green River Killer before that time because she did not watch the news, which is on her. Did he actually kill her? I don't know. Ridgway said that while he was in the relationship with Mawson, his kill rate went down and that he truly loved her. Of his 49 known victims, only 3 were killed after he married Mawson. Mawson told a local television reporter, I feel I have saved lives by being his wife and making him happy." On April 7th of 1987, police took hair and saliva samples from Ridgeway. The samples collected in 1987 were later subjected to DNA profiling, providing the evidence for his arrest warrant. On November 30th, 2001, he was at the Kenworth truck factory where he worked as a spray painter when police arrived to arrest him. Ridgway was arrested on suspicion of murdering 4 women nearly 20 years earlier, first being identified as a potential suspect. When DNA evidence cons- con- conclusively linked in the victims semen left in the victims to the saliva swab taken by the police. The 4 victims named in the original indictment were Marcia Chapman, Opal Mills, Cynthia Hines, and Carol Ann Christensen. Three more victims, Wendy Caulfield, Deborah Bonner, and Deborah Estes, were added to the indictment after a forensic scientist identified microscopic spray paint spheres as a specific brand of and composition of paint used at the Kenworth factory during the specific time frame when these victims were killed. Plea bargain, confessions, and sentencing. All right. Early in August of 2003, Seattle television news reported that Ridgeway had been moved from a maximum security cell at King County Jail to an Airway Heights minimum medium security level tank. Other news reports stated that his lawyers, led by Anthony Savage, were closing a plea bargain that would spare him the death penalty in return for his confessions to a number of the of the Green River murders. On November 5th, 2003, Ridgeway entered a guilty plea of 48 charges of aggravated first-degree murder as part of a plea bargain agreed to in June that would spare him execution in exchange for his cooperation in locating the remains of his victims after providing other details. In his statement accompanying his guilty plea, Ridgeway explained that he had killed all of his victims inside King County, Washington, and that he had transported and dumped the remains of the two women near Portland to confuse the police. Deputy Prosecutor Jeffrey Bard noted in court that the deal contained the names of 41 victims who would not be the subject of state of Ridgeway. If it were not for the plea agreement, if it weren't for the plea agreement, King County prosecuting attorney Norma Maleng explained his decision to make the deal. He said we could have gone forward with several counts, but that is all we could have hoped to solve. At the end of the trial, whatever the outcome, there would have been lingering doubts about the arrest of these crimes. This agreement was the avenue to the truth. And in the end, the search for the truth is still why we have a criminal justice system. Gary Ridgway does not deserve our mercy. He does not deserve to live. The mercy provided by today's resolution is directed not at Ridgway, but toward the families who have suffered so much. On December 18th, 2003, King County Superior Court Judge Richard A. Jones sentenced Ridgeway to 48 life sentences without the possibility of parole, to be served consecutively. He was also sentenced to an additional 10 years for tampering with evidence. Yeah, like that's gonna make a difference. I mean, he's literally gonna be dead in like 30 years. Well, when this took place, probably. He was also sentenced to an additional 10 years for tampering with evidence for each of the 48 victims, adding 480 years to his life sentence, to his 48 life sentences. Later, he was given another life sentence after the remains of his 49th victim were found. Ridgeway led prosecutors to three of the bodies in 2003. On August 16th of that year, the remains of 16-year-old girl found near Enumclaw, Washington, 40 feet from State Route 410, were pronounced as belonging to Pammy Annette Avant, who had believed to be a victim of the Green River Killer. The remains of the remains of Marie Malvar and April Buttram were found in September of 2003. On November 23rd, 2005, the the Associated Press reported that a weekend hiker found the skull of one of the 48 women Ridgeway admitted murdering in his 2003 plea bargain with King County prosecutors. The skull of another victim, Tracy Winston, who was only 19 years old, when she disappeared from Northgate Mall on September 12, 1983, and was found on November 20th, 2005, by a man hiking in a wooded area near Highway 18 near Issaquah, southeast of Seattle. This was the find that led to Ridgway's 49th life sentence. In 2023, remains formerly known as Bones 17, discovered in 1985, were identified as belonging to murder victim Lori Ann Razpotnik, who had disappeared from Seattle in '82. Ridgway confessed to more confirmed murders than any other American serial killer. Over a period of 5 months of police and prosecutor interviews, he confessed to 48 murders, 42 of which were on the police's list of list of probable Green River victims. On February 9th, 2004, county prosecutors began to release the videotaped records of Ridgway's confessions. In one taped interview, he initially told investigators that he was responsible for the deaths of 65 women. In another taped interview with Richard on December 31st, 2003, Ridgway claimed to have murdered 71 victims and confessed to having sex with them before killing them, a detail which he did not reveal until after his sentencing. In his confession, he acknowledged that he targeted prostitutes because they were, quote, easy to pick up, end quote, and that he, quote, hated most of them, end quote. He confessed that he had sex with his victims' bodies after he murdered them, but claimed he begun burying the later victims so that he could resist the urge to commit necrophilia. And also in the wooded area, right? He would actually let his victims loose, like thinking of a false sense of hope, but then just hunting them down like how they would a deer. Alright. Incarceration. Ridgway was placed in solitary confinement at Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla in January of 2004. On May 14th, 2015, he was transferred to the USP Florence High, a high-security federal prison east of Canyon City, Colorado. In September 2015, after a public outcry and discussions with Governor Jay Inslee, Corrections Secretary Bernie Warner announced that Ridgway would be transferred back to Washington to be, quote, easily accessible, end quote, for open murder investigations. Ridgway was returned by chartered plane to Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla from USP Florence High on October 24th of 2015. Victims. Um, these are these are all confirmed killings. At the time of Ridgeway's December, hold on. All right, victims. Before Ridgeway's confession, authorities had attributed 49 murders to the Green River killer. Ridgeway confessed to murdering at least 71 victims. Ridgeway's victims were not of any specific race or ethnicity, rather they were all financially poor, and except for 3 of them, they were all younger women and girls between the ages of 14 and 26, who he found in vulnerable circumstances, often working as prostitutes or having run away from home. Just think about it, a 14-year-old prostitute. I can't. Yeah. Confirmed killings. At the time of Ridgeway's December 18th, 2003 sentencing, authorities had been able to find at least 48 sets of remains, including victims not originally attributed to the Green River killer. Ridgeway was sentenced for the deaths of each of these 48 victims, with a plea agreement that he would plead guilty to all, you know, further cases in King County where his confession could be corroborated by reliable evidence. Now we go to the 49 victims. Wendy Lee and now this is just a I'm gonna be reading off the names. Now this is just remembering the victims that sadly passed away. There's 49. Wendy Lee Caulfield, age 16, disappeared July 8th, 1982, found on July 15th, 1982. Giselle Ann Lavorne, 17 years old, disappeared on July 17th, 1982, found on September 25th, 1982. Deborah Lynn Bonner, 23, disappeared on July 25th, 1982, and found August 12th, 1982. Marcia Faye Chapman, 31. Wow, that's probably like one of the only ones that he said. August 1st of 1982, she disappeared and was found on August 15th, 1982. By the way, all these victims are dead. Cynthia Jean Hines, 17. August 11th, 1982, and body found August 15th, 1982. Opel Charmaine Mills, 16. August 12th, 1982, found on August 15th, 1982. Terry Renee Milligan, age 16, disappeared on August 29th, 1982, and found on April 1st, 1984. Yes, now we're getting into the spans of, bigger spans of the victims that they couldn't find them for. Excuse me. Mary Bridget Meehan, 18, September 15th, 1982, and found on November 13th, 1983. Deborah Lorraine Estes, 15, disappeared on September 20th, 1982, and found on May 30th, 1988. So that's a 6-year gap, 5.5-year gap. Linda Jane Rule, 16, disappeared on September 26th of 1982 and found January 1st, 1983. Denise Darcel Bush, 23. Disappeared on October 8th, 1982, and was found on June 12th, 1985. Shonda Leah Summers, 16. Disappeared disappeared October 9th, 1982, and was found on June 15th, 1985. Shirley Marie Sherrill, 18. Disappeared either October 20th or 22nd of 82, but was found June 14th of 85. Rebecca or Becky Marrero, Marrero, yeah, 20 years old. December 3rd, 1982 to December 21st, 2010. Wow, so that's that's really 28 years that she was missing. I mean, they probably knew that she was dead after like the first couple years. Colleen Renee Brockman, 15. December 24th, 1982, so right before Christmas. Wow. Found May 26th, 1984. Sandra Denise Major, 20. Missing December 24th, 1982. Another one there. And was found December 30th of 85. Wendy Stevens, 14. Died, it doesn't give us a month or day, it just said died circa spring 1983, but was found March 21st of 84. Alama Ann Smith, 18. Alma Ann Smith, 18. March 3rd, 1983, and was found on April 2nd, 1984. Dolores Laverne Williams, 17, was found either March 8th or 14th of 1983, and was found on March 31st of 1984. Lorraine Ann Raspotnik, either 15 or 16, died spring or summer of 83. See, so now we're even getting more further from the actual date, but was found December of 1985. Gail Lynn Matthews, 23, April 10th, 1983, and was found September 18th of 1983. Andrea Marion Childers, 19, April 14th, 1983, she went missing. She was found October 11th of 89. Sandra K. Gabbert, 17. April 17th, 1983 to April 1st, 84, she was found. Kimmy Kai Reichs Pitzor, 16. April 17th, 1983, she went missing. She was found December 15th, 1983. Mary Jane, or Marie Malavar, 18. April 30th, 1983, she was found missing. And she was literally no joke, just back in September 26th of 2003, she was found. Carol Ann Christensen, 21. May 3rd, 1983, and was found on May 8th, 1983. Martina Teresa Otherly, 18 years old, May 22nd, 1983 to November 14th of 1984. Cheryl Lee Wims, 18, went missing on May 23rd, 1983, was found on March 22nd, 1984. Yvonne Shelley Antosh, 19, disappeared May 31st, 1983 and was found on October 15th of 83. Carrie Ann Royce, 15, found missing either May 31st or June 13th of 1983, but was found on March 10th of 1985. Constance Elizabeth Naon, 19, went missing June 8th, 1983, was found on October 27th, 1983. Tammy Charlene Lillis, 16, went missing on June 9th of 1983 and was found on April 23rd of 1985. Kelly Marie Ware, 22, disappeared on July 18th, 1983 and was found October 29th, 1983. Tina Marie Thompson, 21, went missing on July 25th, 1983, was found on April 20th. Weed, no joke. But, April 20th, 1984. April Dawn Buttram, 16. August 18th, 1983, and was found, um, was found a little after her, was literally found a little over her 30-year anniversary of she went missing. August 30th, 2003. Debbie May Abernathy. I thought that last name sounds familiar. Abernathy. 26. September 5th of 1983, and she was found March 31st of 84. Tracy Ann Windsor. No, Tracy Ann Winston, sorry. Tracy Ann Winston. 19. September 12th, 1983 to March 27th, 1986, she was found. Maureen Sue Feeney, 19. September 28th, 1983, she went missing. May 2nd of 86, she was found. Mary Sue Bello, 25, went missing October 11th of 83 and was found just over a year afterwards, on October 12th of 84. Pammy Annette Evans, 15. I'm 15 years old. October 26th, 83, she went missing, and August 16th, 2003, she was found. Delise Louise Plager, 22, went missing on October 30th, 1983, and was found February 14th, 1984. Yeah, here's a Valentine's Day present. Yeah, they found your daughter. I don't know if that would be I don't know if that would be a present or a shocker. Like a present or like not a present, because I mean like you found your daughter on February on Valentine's Day, but a year later. Kimberly L. Nelson, 21. November 1st, 1983, she went missing. She was found June 14th, 1986. Larice Lorraine Yates, 19. December 23rd, 1983, and she was found on March 13th of 84. Mary Exzeta West, 16 years old. February 6th, 1984, and she was found September 8th, 1985. Cindy Ann Smith, 17. She was missing on March 21st of 1984 and was found on June 27th, 1987. Patricia Michelle Barczak, 19. October 17th, 1986, and she was found on February 3rd, 1993. Roberta Joseph. Wow, so her middle name is Joseph. Hayes, 21 years old, February 7th, 1987, and she was found on September 11th, 1991. Marta Reeves, 36, uh, March 5th, 1990, and she was found December 20th of 1990. And I think the oldest one, yeah, the oldest one is Patricia, and it's the last one, Patricia Ann Yellow Robe, 38, and went missing somewhere in January of 1988, but was found August 6th of 1988. So those are all the confirmed victims of Ridgeway, Guy Ridgeway, and yeah, he's a real he's a real piece of work. I'm glad he got 49 life sentences, 49 life sentences plus 480 years. I really think 50 years would be enough because he'd be dead. But for each of the killing, well, probably 49, right, for each of the killing. But I mean, he's gonna die anyway in prison, so but it's that you have to do it. All right, now my next one, which I will most likely be doing Monday, next Monday, is I can't really give a hint for this one, but he was the Unabomber, and he just recently died back in 2022, I think, or 2023. And if you guys know, please. That's my hint. Obviously, the Unabomber in itself would just probably be enough. But if you guys know it, please put it down in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.